Hello once again and welcome to 5-Minute Physics. Today's topic is charging by contact, induction, and by polarization. So to start, we'll talk about charging by contact. Charging by contact has to do with kind of like static. What happens when a plastic rod or a glass rod is rubbed with silk, or when a rubber rod is rubbed with wool or fur, and the two become oppositely charged. The same thing happens when you walk around your house in socks and you rub your socks against the carpet, and then when you reach for a doorknob you get a static shock. It's because you charged yourself by contact. You built up a charge between the friction of your socks and the carpet. So that usually ends up just by the vibration of the particles resulting in charge. Alright, now for charging by induction. Charging by induction is actually a very simple process. It's the process of charging a conductor by bringing it near another charged object and grounding the conductor. And so, for example, say you have something rubber here with negative charge, and you have a little metal disc or a metal sphere here. There's a bunch of positive charge, and most of negative charge is pushed to the other side because this is negative. Because these charges are negative, it forces these negatives to the other side. And because it's metal, they can move freely, so the negative charge accumulates on this side of the sphere. Alright, now what happens when you ground the sphere? When you touch it to something and get rid of all that built-up shock, all that built-up charge? Well, you have a similar situation in which this is still negative, and this disk is much less negative than it was before. It's actually much more positive. Because if all the electrons are gone, who's left? The protons. So you get all these protons floating around, and suddenly it's a positively charged disk. Or sphere, I'm not entirely sure. Either one. And the charge is said to be induced upon the sphere. Alright, now charging by polarization. Charging by polarization is a little bit more complicated than the other two, but just a little bit. In the presence of a charged object, the centers of these may shift slightly, resulting in more positive charge on one side than the other. So after you ground that material over there, oh, you can't see it. Right here, after you ground it, and you end up with that mostly positive sphere, it is said to be polarized if you bring something near it. So, let's say that you have, if I can get this figured out, let's say that you have a charged object over here, a bunch of positive charges, and you have an insulator right next to it. And this insulator has both negative and positive charges. And these are induced. If this is your insulator, then when this is brought near that other object, it will be attracted to this object because of the positive charge. So because there's a negative here, induced, this would be pulled to, well, not pulled, but there would be a force acting on this in this direction, because this is negative and these are positive, and there are too many arrows and that's confusing, but that's pretty much it for the three types of the three basic types of charging. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.